All right, welcome everyone. It is office hours here on the Academy. And now when I finally figured out my audio settings, I can both speak and hear you, Andrew. So that's lovely.
That's, I think, an important part of us putting a show together. I'm glad that I'm glad that we're both here. I'm glad that we can both hear each other. That's a good thing.
Yeah, otherwise we need to learn sign language real quick.
Yeah. Might make demos a little bit challenging for us.
Well, nothing like a good challenge, eh? But
That's right.
glad to have you here and glad to have you guys here. It's time for a news update. Andrew, what do you have for us?
Yes, I have a couple of things that I came across.
And a screen, perhaps?
Yes, that looks
Right
like
on.
a screen.
Yes.
All right.
Screen.
Indeed. So first things first, last week I talked a little bit about a new script from Martin Bankston around Intune registry management. It was a PowerShell script that you can use with Intune remediations to basically create and modify registry keys in Intune. There was an update to it that I thought was a quite a notable update where he added dual logging to the script so that it logs not only into the Intune admin center through the remediation service, but also creates local logs on the device that I think would be quite helpful. As you rightfully pointed out last week, Johan, is quite the humble script here. As Martin points out, it is the only PowerShell script you'll need to manage registry on Windows devices using Intune. And I bring that up again because his tweet about this update doubled down on this. So I really love the confidence on this. And I have no reason to believe that he's wrong, to be honest with you. So quite funny. Good stuff. Fantastic update. Give this a try if you are managing registry with remediations. What else? Just a blog post talking about this might be something that has maybe flown under your radar a little bit, though it's been a topic of conversation on or off for quite some time, and that is disabling NTLM by default. We've started to see applications disable NTLM for specific services. In our little part of the world, ConfigMgr is probably the most obvious example that I can think of off the top of my head. But slowly but surely, Microsoft is heading towards disabling NTLM by default in their operating systems. So this is a new blog post that sort of goes into some details around how you can see what is still using NTLM in your environment. I think that's number one. If you're not doing that today, start auditing and see what's using it today so you have that awareness already. And then start to move those things if possible. Oftentimes that's updating an application, convincing your business that they have to pay to get something else. Probably the most that's probably the most difficult thing we have to deal with in IT, frankly. And then eventually getting to the point where NTLM is going to be disabled anyway. So take a look at this, give this a read through. Really fantastic stuff from Microsoft. If you are managing Apple devices in your environment, I also came across this phenomenal blog post from Octane around domain capture with Apple accounts. Now, what that is if you've used a tool in your organization where folks may have signed up for one of their accounts on a personal basis, but using a corporate or enterprise email address, but then you as an organization, or your organization, I should say, ultimately ends up rolling this out in the enterprise, you may have to deal with those personal accounts. The most common examples that I've seen are Zoom. When COVID started, absolutely everybody in the world, I think, signed up for a personal Zoom account. But when organizations actually started to roll that out and captured that domain, meaning anything under, say, the ViaMonstra.com domain, wanted to sign up for a Zoom account, they no longer could. Apple accounts are another common situation that happens. People get a MacBook in their job, and they log into that MacBook with their personal Apple account. Well, that can cause some issues down the line, especially if we're going to start managing these devices. And so last summer, in the fall, around the time that Apple started rolling out the latest versions of Mac OS and iOS, we actually talked about this a little bit in office hours last year. They also brought out some new features for Apple Business Manager that allows an organization to capture that domain so that you can say, for example, we don't want people signing up for personal Apple IDs using our corporate domain, and then ultimately end up taking over that domain. And so why I love this blog post here is, from a technical perspective, that's really, really easy. Log into Apple Business Manager, verify that you own the domain, and say you're taking it over. From a communication standpoint, from a support standpoint, it is very hard. You need to be able to communicate those things to your users, because ultimately what's going to happen is they can lose that account, essentially. And I'm really oversimplifying what that looks like, but that's because I recommend reading this blog post from Octave around how you can deal with this as an organization, because it's not just the technical aspect. It's recommendations on how to communicate this, who you might want to communicate this to. And this is something that, as IT people, I think this is very important for us to understand. Making that change, again, very simple, but making sure the organization is ready for a large change like this, especially one that, think of Johan. If I said today, all of a sudden, hey, I'm taking over your Apple ID, that's going to cause some heartburn for you, I think. What does that mean? You're going to have questions, right?
No, but this is good. This is good information.
Exactly. And noted. Next story. So give that a read. And then last but not least, if you don't mind me taking 4 or 5 more minutes here, Johan, I actually did have a demo.
Ooh, I love demos.
All right, perfect. So last week talked about a brand new update from Nikolai Anderson on the Intune Win32 app PowerShell module, and kind of wanted to show you what that looks like, because I did finally do a little bit of testing. So far, knock on wood, everything looks fantastic. So again, this application really just helps us automate the modification, information gathering, addition, assignment, etc. of Win32 apps in Intune using Microsoft Graph. So I have an application. I thought, given all of the news this week around Notepad++, it might make sense that I'm going to put a new version of Notepad++ out in Intune. So I have taken a couple of things to set the stage for this script. I have a Notepad++ installer. This is the latest installer of Notepad++, 8.9.1. And I have already used the content prep tool to package up the application in order to be able to upload it into Intune and create my Win32 app. Now, there are a few components when we are creating a Win32 app in Intune. We have to, have this installer ready. We have to create the Win32 app itself, which has its own set of requirements, things that we have to specify inside that application. And then we also have to have an Entra ID group that has either users or computers in it that we're going to assign that application to. We can automate that whole thing. We could even automate the content prep tool portion of it, but that's not this part of the demo. So what I have over here is exactly that. Using the Intune Win32 app module, I can connect
Would you
to...
mind just increasing the font size a little bit?
Not at all. If I could, let's see.
Control plus, I guess, or something.
Yeah, let me try that. There we go. I was doing my mouse scroll and it wasn't doing anything. Is that a little bit better, or should I go a little larger?
We can do one more and then we can. There we go. Beautiful.
Right. Perfect. Thank you for calling that out. So what I have here, I've got a file that I'm loading in that has some secrets, just so that we can securely connect to Graph. And then we're going to connect to Graph using this commandlet. And then I have a number of things that are going to be required to create a Win32 app. So I have the display name of that application, a description, a publisher, where we have the content that needs to be uploaded into Intune, the file name that needs to be uploaded, the install command line switches, the uninstall command line switches, and the path and version. This path we're going to use for the detection rule, which is required for the application. So if we specify all of these variables here and connect to Graph this way, all looks good. We connected correctly. We need to use the PowerShell module to build out our detection rule. So this detection rule is just saying that we're checking for the existence of a specific file in a specific path on the local client. If it's there, it's going to say that the application is successfully installed. So we're going to set that detection rule. And then we're going to set a requirement rule. So that is the architecture. This is the 64-bit version of Notepad++. And we're going to say, as long as you're on Windows 10, 2004 or later, that's the minimum supported version that we want to install this application to. Those are our requirements. Now we have to set those up first because those are required to create the Win32 app. Then from there, we can take all of that information and use this simple commandlet, add-IntuneWin32 app. This is going to build out our entire Win32 app. And if we head over to the Intune Admin Center here, that's not Intune, that's just an application called Intune. But if we head over to our Intune Admin Center here, just to take a look, we're going to look for Notepad++. We do have an 8.9.1. This was created by Patch My PC, but I do not have one called Notepad++ 8.9.1 Office Hours Demo. So we're going to create that. Select this group right here. And you can see in the background, all of this is happening. We're seeing all this information because I have the verbose switch right now. Of course, you don't have to run the PowerShell commandlet with that switch, but I wanted to see that everything was working, and it looks like it did. So if we head back here, refresh, we now have our Win32 app. Now, by default, of course, that application is not going to be assigned to anything. We need to be able to do that. You can see right here, off to the right, not assigned. And if we scroll down just a little bit further here, we can connect to Graph, and I'm hoping I'm still connected, so let's see if that's truly the case. We're going to provide a group name, so Notepad++ available. Office Hours Demo is going to be the name of the UntriD group. We're going to assign a user as a member of that group, then create that group, and then assign the Win32 app. So if we run these right here, after connecting the Graph, this should kick off, create that group, populate the group, and actually assign the application. So if we go in here, check our properties, there we go. We have it assigned as available. And that's my demo. We just built out an entire Win32 app and assigned it. And the reason that I like this and tried to give it sort of a lightning demo is it's pretty easy to take these variables right here and reuse this over and over and over for your applications. I find this much easier personally than having to click around through the UI and everything. So we talked about this last week. I just wanted to show it off real quick. It looks great, and I will hand it over to you, Johan.
All right. Thank you, sir. I do have a comment to make on that module, so I'm gonna steal the screen.
Sounds good.
I can.
You have the power.
I have the power. All right. There is my screen. I use screen. Your screen will be gone. So if you're uploading really, large applications using Intune or to Intune, and by large in this case, I actually mean above a couple of 100 megs. Sometimes that upload will time out, but it will definitely time out when you start to upload applications in the gigabyte size, multiple gigabyte size. I've been uploading apps in like the 20 gig range, and they will time out. So back in the days, you can throw. Nikolai added in this the use AZCopy thing, and if you look in the overall documentation, not in the notes, it will say it will kick in if it's larger than 500 megs. That is not the case. It's actually 100 meg these days, because if you scroll down and check that function later down in the script, you can see that it's going to switch to that utility if it's above 100 rather than 500. So allows you to upload apps or packages very, very quickly, because the AZCopy.exe utility supports multiple streams or multiple threads when it uploads. So worth mentioning that we can throw that as a switch to the command line, and it will do that if the application is larger than 100 meg. Worth mentioning, I thought. All right. Otherwise, the news of the week. Notepad++ had given some heat, right?
A little bit.
A little bit, rightfully so. They turn out to be compromised, not the code itself, but the update servers. So the author behind Notepad++ announced this earlier this week, and sure enough, explain a little bit what happened, how they are doing about, and analyze it, do an analysis of what's going on. And long story short, if you have been updating Notepad++ the last part of last year, make sure you didn't get any unwanted stuff with it. And there is a beautiful post by Georgie and Anton over at Kaspersky. Highly recommend reading this one here. Goes into great detail about the different risks and what's not that is going on. And just the last three, let's see. Well, I guess that's a full day now. During today, I've seen a lot of scripts being published that help you look for these. For example, this one here, that is basically looking for known issues, known binaries and their checksums, and you can scan your systems to make sure you don't have any of those available. Just make sure that you review the scripts that you find. Spend some time reviewing this one here, so that they don't do anything but just read information and don't do anything with it. Because every time there is a security issues like this, also the bad people take advantage of it, and unfortunately that's what's going on. But this one was good. Help you find stuff. Let's see, what else? On the more positive side, I guess, is I stumbled across it's an account I've been following for a while. Called Serve the Home. They often share information about home labs and whatnot. They were testing out 10 gig switches. If you cannot afford a nice 10 gig Ubiquiti aggregator switch, there are quite affordable switches these days that can do 10 gigabit. So I wanted to share this one. They did a review of a couple here. Then I just laughed about this one. I figured we could have some humor back. I absolutely love this. And the comments underneath did not disappoint either. The folks are claiming it was not to protect the phone, it was to protect the floor if it fell on the floor.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
No need for that cover.
Yeah. Then back to security. Terry, one of the known security researchers, if you're spinning up your own MCP servers for AI communication between you and some resource, make sure that they are also secure, because otherwise they might be able to tap into data that you don't want them to tap into. So this was just a really good read that I recommend that you guys check out. Of course, when I mentioned Johan is coming to MMS, and Johan is one of our instructors here in the academy. So I want to mention that one. And then Devolutions that recently acquired PowerShell Universal announced that they are releasing a free developer edition for the mighty price of $0. All features available. So if you want to play around with a web service kind of webhook thing, this would be it. Andrew, did you mention the Secure Boot reports coming up?
I did not.
All right. So first of all, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central Time, meaning 8 a.m. Pacific Time, Microsoft is hosting an AMA around anything Secure Boot. And if you go to your Intune tenant today and head over to, well, give me a moment here, the reports node, and over to, where did my, here, Windows Autopatch and Windows Quality Updates. And you go to reports. This is where you have the Secure Boot status. Had a couple of issues with it when it was launched. It could only show or export about 100 devices at a time. It seems that they have fixed that. I tried to run it just today in my lab for the first time, but all my machines haven't reported up yet, so it kind of looks terrible. But at least I had, I think, one device that was happy with Secure Boot on it. These could also be because a lot of these are virtual machines, and as Frank showed earlier this week, Microsoft is working on updating that information also, and that will be done in March. So it requires a couple of updates there.
Almost afraid to go run that report. But at least it will help us get a little bit better idea of what's going on.
Indeed.
You mentioned the AMA. Did I also see a flash of something about this year's technical takeoff coming up somewhere?
Yes, you did. And I made a note of it somewhere.
I think I saw like a push notification on my phone and was like, oh.
Let me see. I did find that one earlier.
I can see if I can find it too.
Was Sasha Sampler? Oh, I have it.
Got it.
So this one here, kicking off. I love these technical takeoffs. They have been fantastic. But this one here will take you through what you need to know there. That they just released that a little while ago, but I didn't see it until today. Here are the different days for the different topics. So there's a lot of good stuff coming.
Yeah, and I've noticed this year it's 4 Mondays in a row rather than Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
That might be easier, actually, because sometimes it's hard to find a couple of days where you can just dedicate yourself completely to this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right. I stumbled across a cool PowerShell script I wanted to share. This one here from Daniel. Basically clones of the virtual hard drive or a device into a virtual hard drive that you can mount in the VM. Purely PowerShell. Quite amazing.
That's neat.
Yes. Let's see what else. PowerShell script we covered for Win32 apps. The report we covered. Notepad++ we covered. Oh yeah, did you mention the nuketune.com?
I did not. That's a good one.
Yeah. So if you ever have an Intune tenant, probably a lab, and you just want to start over, this is a script that allows you to do that. So if you want to start fresh, playing around with stuff, this would be it. And I believe George just got awarded MVP as well. If I'm correct there, so congratulations. But I think I saw something about it.
Yeah, no, he did. So I agree. Congratulations. That's awesome.
That is good news. And then, Peter, did you talk about this Office script at some point? I don't think you did. This one.
No.
All right. If you ever need to do this, this is how you do it. Convert 32-bit Office to 64-bit. And that was all I had for today in terms of news. And turned out to be a little bit longer than usual, but there was a lot of stuff going on this week. So
yeah, definitely. Well, that was plenty of time for folks to drop in some questions and comments here in the chat. So how about we dive into some of those?
All right, then.
All right. So the first question here is from Matthew. He's been joining us here on Office Hours for a bit and has been working on an issue with some clients and management points. So Matthew's context and question here. Round robin update, the management point that all of the work from home VPN clients use would never be tried by the work from home clients, but all the other MPs would be tried. We allowed access to another MP on a different server that on-prem clients use, and now those work from home clients are green and will now lock to a management point, and Software Center is now working. So it appears it's a specific management point giving issues. Logs are showing the clients will lock to the on-prem MP, but they still use the DP on the management point that's having an issue. So thinking it's specific with an MP role. Using HTTPS only. So certificate authentication, using IIS, all that are good. With this new information, any additional thoughts?
Well, I've certainly seen management points being unhappy. Most of the time, it's been down to simple things like they are missing some component, like a feature in Windows. They are missing like some authentication component. So I would definitely recommend comparing what's installed on a functional MP versus a non-functional MP, because I've seen that a couple of times. Basically run get Windows features and compare the list. That's the only thing I can think of on the top of my head, other than the usual MP troubleshooting logs.
Mm-hmm. All right. Great tip. Thank you.
All right. What else?
Follow-up from Zach has been unfortunately dealing with some of the machines not shutting down issue from the January cumulative update, which hasn't been the greatest cumulative update I've ever seen, I must say. But anyway, Zach wanted to give us an update The latest update that he heard from Microsoft is at the moment the team is targeting the February monthly update at the planned vehicle to deliver the fix. However, because the investigation and validation are still in progress, cannot guarantee that the final release date will align with this target. While February is the goal, it is not confirmed. So thank you for sharing that, Zach. I know you've been dealing with that a lot, and we've seen plenty of others now reference it as well.
Yeah, the out of band update didn't really solve the problem that like they were hoping. So yeah,
yep,
I've seen that too. Well, crossing fingers for the February patch will take care of it if they make it into the February patch. It's coming up soon, Patch Tuesday. Well,
yep.
soon-ish. Only February 4th today, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Zach also mentioned, that secure boot report that you were showing, Johan. Not great. Can't get more details. Can't filter on all the items. Is a beta report. But think up to date means all steps are completely done. So my WinPE image won't work until updated. Is that correct?
Yes. If a device is fully mitigated, yes, then your boot image, if you want to be able to boot that machine on it, will have to have the newer binaries in it also, or be configured for the new boot manager and the certificates files or certified files.
All right. Let's see a familiar name there. Dean joining us with a little wave. Hey, Dean, good to see you.
Yeah, up late, I see.
Uh-huh.
It's close to midnight. It is midnight in the UK.
Yeah.
Or maybe 11, 6 hours. It's late.
Yep.
Let's go for that.
Later than dinner, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Zach also mentioned we'll be joining the AMA tomorrow. I think using the Windows Update API during OSD is doing all the things potentially, but just noticed this today when looking at the report. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we're going to have to keep our eye on that report. Mike's asking, do your machines have to be enrolled in autopatch in order to run that report?
I don't think so. I only have a couple, and there were many machines in there, so I'm not sure if there is a autopatch dependency.
No, I'm actually explicitly not seeing my autopatch devices in here, though they could be off. Yeah, they are off. But no, I agree. I've got 20 devices in that report, and none of them are enrolled into any autopatch groups.
So we are guessing no. Based on that.
Let's see.
Comment from regarding VMs for ESXi. They also need to be updated with the same certificate there.
Yep.
Yes, thank you for that.
All right. Amir saying, speaking of Intune apps, we knew that Autopilot installs required apps during ESP in the order of their GUID. We went to great lengths to customize that so apps would install in our preferred order. That behavior seems to have changed now, and apps appear to be installing in a random order on different devices. Do you know what changed?
I do not, but that was really like a supported scenario. It just happened to be that way for a while, so that they might very well have changed it. The only really reliable way I know right now is to have them be as either dependency on each other or launch a sequence as part of your autopilot enrollment or through that phase. You can even go so far as you can use custom scripting to install apps in certain orders. Basically, you have a packet that has like 4 applications and one wrapper script, and that wrapper script simply runs them one by one. So that would maybe a third option then, but haven't heard anything about the GUID there, the GUID ordering.
All right. Sarah's asking if anyone is seeing Lenovo laptops crashing recently when launching Teams.
I have not.
Well, I haven't come across anything. Most of the organizations I'm working with are almost exclusively Dell or HP too. So
Nothing. Sorry.
no. Yeah. Looks like I did find a Reddit thread that they're. Hold on. Let's see. Is this the Windows suddenly displays a black screen on a Teams call? Well, Johan, if you want to switch over to my screen, I haven't seen this, Sarah, but I found it, and it's an actual support document from Lenovo. Maybe you've come across this already, but while on a Teams call, Windows Desktop suddenly displays a black screen or hangs, and it was occurring with specific Intel drivers, graphics drivers specifically. So a whole bunch of different systems that are affected. Looks like most of them, frankly, looking at the model numbers.
A good chunk of them.
Yeah. So it looks like maybe uninstall and roll back to a specific version of the graphics drivers. So we'll post this. Maybe it'll be helpful. All right. Have you seen the commands to validate WinRE for certs? Have completed WinPE and main OS, just need to validate WinRE, no PowerShell in WinRE.
No, I have not. Where's Mike and Gary when you need them?
Right?
Yes, got a confirmation from Sarah there that they did see that, did not solve their problems, unfortunately.
Okay. And hey, look at that. Who showed up? Mike Terrell.
I love it.
Sounds like a good one to add to our next presentation, he says.
Yeah, rumors are those folks will be at MMS this year, but we'll see. Later, May.
Let's see. Just a follow-up comment, you need to make sure all your devices have UEFI certs enabled in BIOS. I've seen some fail because it wasn't selected. Triggered BitLocker, but then cert updates were successful after enablement.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happen.
Mm-hmm.
So making sure that you have your recovery keys available is, well, good idea. All right, anything else?
Well, Dean did say 6 hours ahead. It's 11 p.m. there.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Just checking to see if there's anything else we missed.
I do not think so. But if you do have any questions out there, we still have 19 minutes available.
Mm-hmm.
Love questions. Settle for comments.
Otherwise, it's been a while. I'll be forced to devolve into, conversations about ongoing or upcoming TV shows and movies. And I know you're excited for Ted Lasso to come back.
Oh, yes. Yes, we're looking forward to it. My background here kind of gives a hint.
Mm-hmm.
But I do not see any other questions coming in. So, well, I guess that leaves us to saying thank you for everybody who joined today, and thank you, Andrew, for being here. And we will see you next Wednesday, or we hope to see you next Wednesday. Have a good one every day, everyone.
Thanks, Johan. Thanks, everybody.